What is going on, everybody? We got a cool one for you today. We got a bald fade, undercut, side part, skin fade, zero fade, taper fade, whatever you want to call it. It's got a whole bunch of names, this haircut. It's really popular. It's all over the magazines and TV and stuff now, and everybody's getting it. So, let's just dive on into it. I'm using my first 5-0 guard to make that first line. Use a blow dry to blow any excess crap on his shoulders. Use your wall 5-star foil just to skin out the very edges. This will give you a nice smooth finish when everything's all done. You can do that at the very end though. I like to do it now just to get it out of the way. Sometimes you'll have a hard time blending out that foil line, so that's where another smaller hold foil will come into play. It helps you really easily blend out that line. You won't really have any problem if you have a big and a small foil, if you get what I'm saying. The holes in the foil itself. So, for this haircut, you want to make sure you have enough hair for it to comb directly over to the side, and then just a little bit more in the very front hairline just to flip up. So we're going to take a nice little light scissor trim on the top today. We're not going to get carried away because, like I said, we want to make sure his hair is still long enough for the style. So don't get scissor happy. Especially over on the right side, where it starts to connect to the side of his head, that's going to be your most problematic area. People have a lot of time, they trim too tightly over there. Moving over to the side with the part, since his hair is still wet, I'm going to grab my razor and go ahead and get his hard part done and out of the way. This is another thing that people get kind of carried away in. You don't want that thing to be thick. I never try to use my trimmers to get in there, just my razor. I feel like I have more control. Using a number 2 guard, I'm going to go all the way up to where we just made that hard part, and we're going to do a little bit of skip guard fading to finish this haircut up. So not doing the number 2, all on the sides, you can still see the area where we still have to blend, and if you can't, you got a lot of work to do. So we're using a 3-0 guard to blend out the 5-0 line now, and there's still a lot more blending to do. So from there, we are going to grab the 0A and start fading up. Just flicking your wrist. You don't want to make any hard lines, so try when you do make that first cut with your blade, flick it out just so you're not making more work for yourself. Jumping up to the number 1 guard, we're starting to really get rid of that weight line. It's starting to vanish into thin air, which is good news. Now with the 1A, we're just taking that next step right over top of the number 1, and now with the 1.5, we'll be finishing up that blend. Pretty easy. Alright, so now over on the right side that you can't see, I'm using a number 3 guard just to finish up the blend on that side from the bald fade into the top. Right there I just went back and retouched the spot. I'm doing my little finishing touches right now. Always want to double check your haircuts. So you're probably wondering why I decided to cut half of his calic out. Some people I leave it, some people I don't. I typically think it's easier for your client to do his own hair when he doesn't have to fight his calic in the back. Blending the sides with some thinning shears. This is going to be really important for these haircuts because you want to leave the hair very long on top and buzz the sides down really tight. It's hard to blend those out. So using the thinning shears is really good. It's a really great way to, texturize the hair and give it that look that you really want. Try not to go too deep with the thinning shears because you will end up causing like little split ends and little hairs with attitude that just stick up on you and you can't really handle them. So be careful of that. Don't get too happy with the thinning shears. Using the razor, we're going to just do the finishing touches, get around the edges, clean up his sideburns, around his eyebrows, on his cheekbones, on top of his eyebrows, his unibrow. Don't let anybody leave with a unibrow. Even if they don't do their whole eyebrows, you gotta get that unibrow. Although some people have yelled at me before when I've gone in to get their unibrow, and I was kind of shocked by that, so careful of that. So we're going to use our shaving cream on the back of the neck. We're going to shave those little tiny baby hairs. Some people have a bit more back here, so you might need a little bit more shaving cream. So using the towel, wipe away the extra, then use a hot towel. That's going to help wipe away any of the stuff that's clogging their pores, any stuff that came out of their pores, and it feels really good as well. So now we re-wet the hair. We're going to put a little bit of the firm hold gel in by Gauge, I think is what I used on him. Typically on these haircuts I go with gel over pomade. That's just personal preference. It's easier for me to use, at least in the shop. So now that he's all styled, we're going to give him a quick little spin, and there it is.